Good morning everyone. Today we'll learn about mature and hypermature cataract. So in the previous clinic, senile immature cataract has been covered along with the congenital cataract. In this clinic, we'll learn about mature and hypermature cataract. So when senile immature cataract is left untreated, then it will progress to mature cataract. So mature cataract, again, the characteristic features of mature cataract are there is complete opacification of the lens, the whole cortex is involved along with the nucleus, the pearly white lens appears, it is also called as ripe cataract, the iris shadow is absent in mature cataract, which is present in immature cataract. When mature cataract is left untreated, it will progress to hypermature cataract, where the cortex is disintegrated and transformed into pultaceous material. It usually occurs in two forms. First is the Morganian hypermature cataract, the second is sclerotic hypermature cataract. The first type of the hypermature cataract, which is Morganian cataract, here the complete cortex is liquefied and appears milky white in color. The lens is converted into bag of milky fluid. The nucleus, which is relatively harder than the cortical part, it settles at the bottom of the capsular bag, which is seen as brown mass. It happens because there is no support. Entire cortex gets liquefied and there is no support to the nucleus. That is why the nucleus will settle at the bottom, which is seen as the brown mass. Nucleus then changes its position with the change in position of the head, as there is no support to the nucleus. The next type of the hypermature cataract is sclerotic hypermature cataract. It is also called as shrunken cataract. Here there is disintegrated cortex. The lens is shrunken due to leakage of water. The thickened anterior capsule due to proliferation of anterior cubical cells is seen, and lens-wide capsular cataract in pupillary area is seen here. The anterior chamber is deep as the size of the lens is small. The iris is tremulous. There is luxation of the lens due to disintegration of suspensory ligaments and zonules. Why this happens? Because there are micro leaks on the capsular bag, the capsule of the lens. That is why there is leakage of the water from the lens and the lens is shrunken. Now next is the maturation of the nuclear senile cataract. The progressive nuclear sclerosis renders lens inelastic and hard. Then there is thickening of the lens capsule. Lens loses its ability to accommodate. It may become diffusely cloudy, greyish, usually white in mature cataract or hypermature cataract, or it is tinted as either brown, which is called as cataracta brunescens, black, which is called as cataracta nigra, and reddish, that is called as cataracta rubra. These three are the types of the nuclear senile cataract. Now the complications of the cataract. If the cataractous lens is left untreated, then it may get complicated and it may develop into one of the three things. First is lens-induced glaucoma. Second is phacoanaphylactic uveitis. Third is subluxation or dislocation of the lens. The lens-induced glaucoma we'll see in the next slides. What is phacoanaphylactic uveitis? Here, one thing you have to remember: lens is the immunoprivileged organ. The lens proteins are not in contact with the body's immune system. So the lens protein, they act as antigen to the body's immune system. In hypermature cataract, the lens proteins may leak into anterior chamber and they come in contact with the body's immune system, which will produce the antigen antibody reaction, and it will produce the anaphylactic, that is allergic reaction. The allergic reaction becomes severe and it develops into uveitis. So the phacoanaphylactic uveitis develops here. Second is the subluxation or dislocation of the lens. In hypermature sclerotic cataract, there is disintegration of the zonules and the zonular support is gone. So patient may the lens may subluxate or dislocate from its normal anatomical position. Now the lens induced glaucoma. Lens induced glaucoma, as the name suggests, it is the glaucoma because of the lens. So it can be of three types. First is the phacomorphic glaucoma, second is phacolytic glaucoma, and third is phacotopic glaucoma. So phacomorphic glaucoma, it is caused by intumescent swollen lens. In intumescent cataract, there is swelling of the lens that will cause the secondary angle closure of the anterior chamber, and that will lead to glaucoma, angle closure glaucoma. So it is because of the change in morphology of the lens, that is why it is called as phacomorphic glaucoma. Next is phacolytic glaucoma. Here the lens proteins leak into anterior chamber. They are engulfed by macrophages because they act as an antigen. So when they are engulfed by the macrophages, the size is increased. The macrophages are of larger size. They clog the trabecular meshwork and hence they obstruct the flow of the aqueous humor. So that will lead to phacolytic glaucoma. The third is phacotopic glaucoma. Here the cataract may subluxate or dislocate, causing pupillary block. It occurs in the sclerotic hypermature cataract where zonular support is gone. The cataract may subluxate or dislocate in the pupillary area, and it will cause the pupillary block, and it will cause phacotopic glaucoma. So these are the three types of lens induced glaucoma. Now coming to the management of the cataract. So management of the cataract mainly involves the cataract surgeries, either the small incision cataract surgery or phacoemulsification, the newer technique. Non-surgical measures, medical treatment doesn't have any significant effect on in inducing disappearance of the cataract. So the treatment of cause may delay the process of the cataract or delay the progression of the cataract. Like if patient is diabetic, then adequate treatment of the diabetes, the removal of the cataractogenic drugs or irradiation, these can cause delay of the progression of the cataract, but not the complete reversal of the cataract. Then prescription of the glasses in early treatment can be advised if patient is giving 6/6 vision. Now measures to improve vision in presence of immature cataract, the early stages of the cataract. It can be either refraction, either you can prescribe glasses, or arrangement of the illumination, that is brilliant illumination in peripheral cataract where the central cortical part is not involved. Use of dog goggles in central opacities where patient is complaining of photophobia or glares, and mydriatics to dilate the pupil. The most important management part in case of cataract is surgical management. Patient has to undergo surgical. Previously the dictum was that whenever the cataract is mature or in grade 2 to 3, then patient used to undergo cataract surgery. But nowadays, even if the patient is having 6/6 vision but he is complaining of the glares or photophobia because of the cortical cataract, and he is not able, or suppose patient is doing some fine work like his pilot where the vision is 6/6 vision, along with that the clear vision is necessary. In these cases, if even the early stages of the cataract can be operated. So the indications for the surgery are: first is the visual improvement, that depends on the individual needs. Second is the medical indication, like lens, if patient has lens induced glaucoma, then these are the medical indication for cataract surgery. The retinal diseases like diabetic retinopathy to improve visualization for treatment. Phacoanaphylactic endophthalmitis, the phacoanaphylactic uveitis may land up in endophthalmitis. Or cosmetic indication in cases of mature cataract where the pupil is completely pearly white. So in such cases, patient can undergo surgical management. Before posting patient for cataract surgery, we have to do proper preoperative evaluation. So the proper preoperative evaluation consists of: first is the general medical examination to rule out any systemic disease. like septic gums, UTI, any source of infection or any sepsis, because that can lead to post-operative endophthalmitis. So before posting patient, you have to rule out all these conditions. The investigations which are necessary preoperatively, the three most important investigations are: first is the blood sugar levels. If patient is not diabetic, non-diabetic, then just random blood sugar level is important, will suffice. Otherwise, if patient is diabetic, then you have to do fasting and postprandial blood sugar level. Then complete blood count to rule out any systemic disease like sepsis. If the TLC count, total leukocyte count of the patient is raised, that will suggest that patient has sepsis or infection in the body. So to rule out that, again, if the patient's hemoglobin level is low, then the healing process will delay. So hemoglobin should be more than 8 gram per dl. So for that, CBC is to be done, and urine routine microscopy to rule out any urinary tract infection, because that is the leading source for post-operative endophthalmitis. After the systemic examination, ocular examination is to be done. First and foremost will be the visual status assessment. The visual acuity with Snellen's chart is done. If patient is not able to read the last line, then counting finger, that is the vision is less than 6/60, then counting fingers is to be done. After that, the perception of light and projection of rays is to be done. These are the crude method to test the retinal function also. So in mature cataract, usually patient doesn't have, the patient's vision is less than hand movement close to face. In such patients, perception of light and projection of rays is very important. Next is the pupillary reaction, whether pupil is reacting or not, because that is important during cataract surgery. Because for cataract surgery you need proper dilated pupil. So then pupillary reaction is to be checked. Then anterior segment evaluation by slit lamp biomicroscopy to rule out any corneal pathologies or conjunctival pathologies or anterior chamber pathologies. Then cataract morphology and grading is to be done after examination on anterior chamber anterior segment evaluation. Intraocular pressure is very important. Intraocular pressure can be measured either by a non-contact tonometry or ablation tonometry. If you have suspicion of raised intraocular pressure, then you will do ablation tonometry, which is gold standard for measurement of IOP. Sac syringing to rule out blockade in the lacrimal apparatus, which is basically to rule out the chronic dacryocystitis. So the probing and sac syringing is to be done. Complete fundus examination is to be done to rule out any retinal pathologies or choroidal pathologies. In mature cataract, fundus is not seen on slit lamp. So in such cases, ultrasonography, that is B scan, is to be done if fundus is not visible. Then next comes the IL power calculation, which is very important for cataract surgery. In cataract surgery, we remove the cataractous crystalline lens, and in that place we put the artificial intraocular lens. So to calculate the proper power or correct power of the intraocular lens, we need first keratometry, which is the measurement of the corneal curvature and corneal astigmatism, and then the A-scan ultrasonography, which measures the axial length of the eye. Once these two things are calculated, after that we use SRK, that is Sanders, Resolve and Kraft formula for measurement of intraocular lens power. So SRK formula is P equals to A minus 2.5 L minus 0.9 K, that where the P is power of the lens, A is the constant which depends on the intraocular lens material and depending on the companies which make that intraocular lens. Then L is axial length of the eyeball in millimeters, K is average corneal curvature. So when you put these values in the formula, that is P equals to A minus 2.5 L minus 0.9 K, then you get the intraocular lens power, which is to be implanted in the eye. So this was all about the mature and hypermature cataract and the management part of the cataract. So in management part, again, patient surgeries, they depend on the grading of the cataract. Usually the SICS in our Indian setting, small incision cataract surgery is done, which is cheap, and nowadays the phacoemulsification is also done, like which is relatively advanced surgery than the conventional SICS, that is manual small incision cataract surgery. So the steps they differ, which is which you have to read, and then you have to present in your viva also. So this was about the mature and hypermature cataract and management of the cataract. Thank you.